Russ.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It is December 10th, 2024. Please, it's our 2 o'clock Commissioner Consent Agenda meeting. There was no written testimony for today that we received for items that are on our agenda. Let the record reflect that all 5 commissioners are present, and then we'll go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. That will take us to our next item. So we are going to be taking item 3Q separately. That is the other item that we will take that separately. And then I will go ahead and open up for public forum. I have 2 people that have signed up. So we will start with Becky Dickerhoof.
Hello, I'm Becky Dickerhoof from the City of Spokane. I'm here today to ask the County Commissioners to enact what is commonly referred to as the 1590 tax. This ordinance, which amended RCW 82.14.530, allows a county legislative authority to impose a sales and use tax not to exceed 0.1% of the selling price in the case of a sales tax or value of the article used in case of a use tax. Last week, TIFs were mentioned during the Spokane County Commissioners meeting, claiming it was superior to the 1590 tax to support low-income affordable housing. Today, I would like to clarify the reality of how 1590 differs from a TIF as funding for affordable housing. A TIF is a tax increment financing district, a property tax increment. TIF can be used to support permanently affordable housing, but affordable housing is not low-income housing, which is what is needed to solve our current housing crisis in Spokane County. A household is considered low income if it makes below 80% of the median income in the local area. Low-income renters must qualify through the local housing authority to receive rental vouchers and rents through the housing authority. The Department of Housing and Urban Development defines affordable housing or apartments as one a household can obtain for 30% or less of its income. A recent report from a local developer promoting TIF in the Western Plains of Spokane noted the TIF may be used for affordable housing. Just like 1590, it is a tax, but unlike 1590, it is a property tax. Affordable housing would be targeted as a median income of the Spokane community and sold or rented at market value, not directed at those below the 80% mark, which is a population in the housing risk category, and those most vulnerable to becoming homeless. When you only have 30% of your income to spend on housing, the limiting factor for both low-income and affordable housing, that of affordable house is no longer affordable for those who fall within the low-income range. One other key point, according to RCW 39.89, it only allows TIF funds to be set aside for affordable housing after 10 years and would only apply to the area of the county and city that is within the TIF boundary. 1590 funds from a sales tax can be used immediately for funding low-income housing and is not restricted to any devised boundary. This would encourage building low-income housing in areas with public transportation and easy access to goods and services. Both are important tools that can help with our housing crisis. A TIF is not superior to 1590 and has restrictions that limit its use to solve our housing crisis. I encourage the Spokane County Commissioners to add 1590 to the housing toolbox. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have H.T. Higgins.
My name's H.T. Higgins. The birthing of Camp Hope was 37 months ago today, December 10th, 2021. After I completed my testimony last week, one of the commissioners indicated my testimony lacked the truth. The challenges of unhoused in Spokane County, I think, and many others think, including many of your businesses, that this challenge is the single greatest public health, public safety, and public quality of life issue in Spokane County. The same commissioner said we spent $50 million a year on homelessness. that shows our commitment. You are correct. $50 million by all the jurisdictions has been spent. You sound like a Democrat. However, I have watched the red siloed commissioners enough to know that they want data and they want outcomes. And damn it, Commissioner French, we need to be responsible to the taxpayers. I would love to see your data and your outcomes for the county's portion of the $50 million. The $50 million is not working. Showing up at 3 meetings over 12 months where the mayor was in attendance is not engagement. It is not using your political capital. Was there a public briefing after each of these 3 meetings? Have you proposed a resolution about your stance as a board of commissioners on a regional homeless collaborative? Are you willing to expend political capital on being a part of the solution? I am just asking the questions. Yes, elections have consequences, and it reveals your priorities. But please, with all due respect, do not sit in front of the citizens of Spokane and say those unhoused county residents and downtown businesses are a priority. Your time and how you expend your political capital represents your priorities. In this case, it clearly shows the priorities of the red siloed Republican commissioners. Being a part of the solution for homeless crisis in Spokane County is not a priority of this commission. As my political lobbyist mentor, Vito Kieki, would say, with all due respects, the facts just don't say that. Stay tuned for encampments, strain on emergency and hospital services as our unhoused friends begin to see the effects of 0-degree weather. It is truly a sad and shameful representation of our community.
Thank you. So those are the only 2 that I have that have signed up in advance. Is there anyone else who would like to testify at our open public forum? Anyone online? Okay, seeing no one else in the audience and no one online, third and final call for anyone wishing to testify at our open public forum. I will now close the open public forum and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we, and you did state we're taking item 3Q separate, so I will move that we approve items 3A through P.
Second?
I have a motion and a second for items 3A through P on today's agenda. Any further discussion on those? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That will then take us to item number 3Q, and I'm going to ask Mr. McMorris if he'd please come up and speak to that.
Hey, Jeff McMorris, council staff, committee commissioner, your commissioners. Used to work for the King County Council. This is the ARP roll-up for year end. And on page 5, under lowercase f, subcategories 1 and 1B, or lowercase I, when we brought a number over, we put it on the wrong line. So we're correcting that line, and then it also made the bottom add up incorrectly. So we're also correcting the total of that category. It's an indirect category, doesn't impact anybody except the county. And since we found it before you voted on it, it won't impact even us once you vote on it. So just a scrivener's error. We were working late and made a mistake, and we found it. So hopefully you guys will correct it. Thanks.
Thank you. So just so we know, it just is those 2 numbers were put in incorrectly, as you just stated. So thank you very much. There is nothing other than just a scrivener's error to these, but we will have to take it as a separate motion and amend it.
Madam Chair, I move that we amend item 3Q, section 1, subsection F, line I, which currently reads $4,036,842.91 to the amended $2,298,193.65, and amend item 3Q, Section 1, subsection F, line IB, which currently reads $2,298,193.65 to the amended $2,075,943.73.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second for the amendment that was just read. Since this is, so then I'm going to open it up for public comment on the amendment. Okay. So since this is an amended item and it was not on our pre-printed agenda, I will open it up for anyone that would like to comment on this. Second call for anyone wishing to comment on the amendment. Seeing no one in the audience and no one online, third and final call. I will close the public testimony and call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve resolution item 3Q as amended.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve item number 3Q as amended. Is there any other discussion? Do I need to open that up? Oh, just a second. There is more discussion. Commissioner Waldron.
Oh, I just wanted to thank Jeff McMorris and Heather for all their hard work to cross the Ts and dot the Is and even find some dollars that needed to be adjusted. So I just wanted to say thank you for all your work to make sure every dollar from the American Rescue Plan can stay here in Spokane County and get invested in key priorities of the county. So thank you for your work.
Okay. I want to second that because you guys have worked very hard. There's been many resolutions that have come before us over the course. I think I saw the stack was like that tall over the course of time, and just as the rules have changed, and you guys have done a great job. So as Commissioner Walter said, to make sure that every dollar stays here in Spokane County that we received, we really appreciate all the efforts that your team has done. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That will then take us to item 4A, which is continued from Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 for decision only. This is in the matter of the sale of surplus county property, Spokane County Assessor's parcel number 45154.3101. Let's see. I don't know if Deborah or Jim want to just speak to it. No? I guess that's a no. So this was the property that was discussed, and we had an open public hearing again on December 3rd. So then I will look to my fellow commissioners for a motion.
All right, Madam Chair, I move that, one, the property is surplus and it is the best interest of the county that the property be sold. Two, that the county treasurer is authorized to sell the property at a public auction for a minimum bid of $399,000. And three, if the property does not sell at the public auction, the property may be sold by direct sale by the Spokane County Administrative Engineer for $399,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I will open up for public comment, or for comment from the fellow commissioners. And so Commissioner Jordan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item relates to selling the former Scope House on Evergreen Street in the Valley on the open market, as it is not in use, no longer needed by the Sheriff's Office. As the board knows, I presented an ordinance on November 5th that would allow for surplus properties like this house to be used for affordable housing purposes. I do want to thank county staff from our Housing and Community Development Department, Planning Department, Legal, Public Works, and others for their input on that issue, on that proposal, as well as community service providers like Habitat for Humanity, Thrive, SNAP, Family Promise, and Community Frameworks for expressing their support for it. That ordinance would give the board the option to analyze surplus properties when we have them and determine whether they might be suitable candidates for affordable housing. It would give us the choice to make on a case-by-case basis about whether to sell a property on the open market or dispose of it to make more affordable housing available in our community to serve low-income families in particular. And so as George Dahl explained to the board during that presentation, that does not necessarily mean giving away property, but there are funding arrangements that could be brought to bear, leveraging grant dollars or other funds, for example, while a property may be sold at a discounted price, which would minimize negative impact on the general fund while expanding affordable housing opportunities. So I'll be voting no on this item because I would prefer that we conduct such an analysis of this property before we make a decision, and simply give ourselves the option to consider other uses for it. We do know that Habitat for Humanity has told us that this property is a good candidate for their program. It may not be a good candidate for various types of affordable housing, but we did hear from Habitat on that. So I just wish we could explore opportunities like that further, given the dire need for affordable housing in the county. However, I understand the timing may not be ideal for this particular property, as there's concerns with it sitting vacant for further time throughout the winter. So I appreciate the board's willingness to consider that ordinance, review the materials I provided. I appreciate your consideration. Hope we can continue to have that conversation into next year. Thank you.
Commissioner Waldron.
I just wanted to thank Commissioner Jordan for bringing forth the proposal that the county consider adopting an ordinance that would allow us to surplus property for affordable housing. And I have been in conversations with community partners that have been asking the county to consider doing this. Again, it doesn't require you to do that. It gives you the choice. So if we were to pass such an ordinance, it would just allow us the opportunity to choose if we were to go out for a request for proposals, for instance, from different affordable housing providers to either build new housing or retrofit, existing housing. So I just want to thank Commissioner Jordan. I definitely support it, and I hope we can bring it back for a conversation in 2025, or look at other ways in our budget next year at the county that we can invest more deeply in affordable housing in Spokane County. I think there's a lot of different strategies we could look at, and partnering with developers. And so I will support surplusing this property tonight, because I do think we need to get it out into use. But I just want to put on the record that I will support bringing back the conversation in 2025 about having more affordable housing tools at our disposal. I think that's our responsibility in the housing affordability crisis that we're in. So thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And those opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion passes 4-1. That will take us to item number 5A, which is a public hearing in the matter concerning the 2025 Newman Lake Flood Control Zone District Benefit Assessment. And Ben Bradaboe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Coming before you today to talk about the 2025 assessments and the breakdown of how they would be applied to the properties around Newman Lake. The board, you approved the district budget in October, unchanged from the previous year, a total of $320,000 a year. And then this is it has been unchanged since 2022. There's 1,700 parcels within the district. Of that, 764 pay an assessment. The remainder are not charged for the benefit they receive around the lake. We set the date for a public hearing in November, and then this is the public hearing to receive comments on that. The next slide, please. This is a breakdown of the by $100 bracket. If you go to the next slide, this is a comparison of where we were in 2024 in the blue, and then in 2025 is proposed. A little bit of change based upon value of properties and how the benefits are applied, but generally it's the same as last year. And available for any questions.
Are there any comments for Mr. Bradabo? I'm not seeing any. Okay, this is a public hearing item, so I will open it up for public hearing item number 5A. Is there anyone online? Okay, second call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 5A. Seeing no one online, no one in the audience. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 5A. Seeing no one, I will close the public testimony and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the Newman Lake Flood Control District's 2025 assessment rolls, that the county engineer is directed to deliver assessment rolls to the county treasurer for collection.
Second.
He's getting
I
good.
saw him that, he'd already pushed his button and everything. I was gonna,
I have a motion and a second. I feel like we're on, Jeopardy or something where we're trying to get in. Motion and a second for item number 5A. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to the end of our items that are on our printed agenda. Mr. Simmons has stepped out. So, Mr. Folsom, I believe you have several items for us.
In speaking with Mr. Simmons, I think there's 6 executive session items today. Oh, just in time. Let you talk about yours.
My apologies, I was organizing the logistics, so exec session?
Yes, so
Okay.
we are at the end of our printed agenda.
Excellent.
So we are now, if there's any other items to come before us, so you had some executive sessions, I knew.
Yes, no miscellaneous, just exec. So
Okay.
we've got 6 exec sessions, actually. The first one we'll do is sale or lease of real estate. And that one is under RCW 4230-110-1C. That'll include the commissioners, Matt Folsom, myself, Matt Zarakor, and Deb Firkins. And that'll be 5 minutes. I know I'm having a memory blank.
Okay.
Okay, that'll be 5 minutes, no action. The second item is also, this is under acquisition lease of real estate, RCW 4230-110-1B. That will be with the commissioners, Matt Folsom, myself, Doug Chase, and Jasper Coulter. And that will be for 10 minutes. And then we have, I'll go to you with your pending potential.
Which ones have you done? Okay, I'm on 3. Under RCW 4230-110, we've got pending and potential litigation for the sale of property on the Fish Lake. We'd like Jasper Coulter, the board, Scott Simmons, and Doug Chase. Probably about 10 minutes.
And no action?
No action.
Okay.
Under the same code section, we've got pending and potential litigation for a Building Industry Association of Washington letter. We would like the board, myself, Mr. Simmons, Jasper, and Mr. Chamberlain here for that one as well, probably 10 to 15 minutes.
And Mr. Neal.
Mr. Neal?
I would say 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Number 5, also under pending and potential litigation, RCW 4230-110. This is in regards to an interlocal agreement with the City of Spokane and potential amendments to the lease. This should be 15 minutes, the board, myself, and Mr. Simmons. And finally, pending and potential litigation, an action out of the Sheriff's Department with Sheriff Knowles, Sheriff Ellis, and a indemnification letter and reservation of rights, like myself, the board, Mr. Simmons, and Risk Management, Dan Gadd. About 10 minutes, no action on any of these items.
Okay. So based on that, if I add all of those up, we're going to be in executive session for 65 minutes total. No action is going to be taken, and we will start executive session. It's 2:29, so I will give us 5 minutes to clear the chambers and get ready for executive session. So we will start at 2:35, and we will be in executive session for 65 minutes. At the end of that 65 minutes, we will adjourn for the day. And again, no action is anticipated. Thank you.